Welcome back to the Clubhouse. Listen, it's going to be a photo finish when it comes to the NHL's President's Cup. So let's shift our attention to the ice and the race for the President's Cup here. So we have the Rangers and the Canucks leading the NHL with 98 points, but there are 5 other teams with 1 point behind them at 97 points, including Pete's very own Boston Bruins here. So we got our handy-dandy touchscreen here. The NHL, the top 7 teams in the NHL standings are separated by just 1 point, like I said. So we're going to rank them from most to least dangerous here. And you guys can play along on the Stadium app. Go to the game section and give us your thoughts. But Pete, I'm curious, and Danny, because you're a big hockey guy now. So let's rank them here from the most to the least dangerous. What you got?
Okay, so from the most dangerous, I'm going to stick with the team that's at the very top right now. It's the Colorado Avalanche, just because they have such elite high-level talent. Sure, they're kind of running them into the ground this season, but they're allowed to do that because they keep producing. Nathan MacKinnon could be the MVP this year. So I'm going to keep Colorado at the very, very top.
All right, how about your Bruins, though?
I would slide the Bruins. This is going to sound blasphemous from somebody from Boston and who is the biggest Bruins fan in the world. Slide them all the way to the bottom. I am not I'm not buying the Bruins as a true, real, legitimate threat this year. I don't think their depth is there. When you look at how they've played since the All-Star break, they're kind of falling apart. They don't have the killer instinct that I look for in a Stanley Cup team. And it's just, they fall apart at the end of games, so it's hard for me to take them super, super seriously right now.
Is that because of health or
their depth? I just don't think they trust their depth, and I just don't think they get caved in at the end of games, and it really, really worries me.
Are you just preparing yourself so last year?
I mean, I got hurt to the utmost degree last year. They're the best team in regular season history and flamed out in the first half. I have to protect myself.
I've never seen Pete so down after they had an early exit last year. All right, so we got the Avs, the Bruins are at the bottom. What about the middle here? How would you rearrange these?
Okay, so take the Canucks and put them above the Bruins, because the Canucks, and this isn't a disrespect to the Canucks necessarily, because they've been at the top of the standings basically all year long, but I am a firm believer in that you need to get you kind of need to get punched in the mouth at least once before you learn to become a true contender and a true playoff team. And the Canucks are just kind of green when it comes to playoff experience. They've got a ton of talent, but I just don't know if they're going to be ready for it once they see the shift in playoff hockey versus regular season hockey.
And Danny, even in baseball, you have to have that experience when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, Vancouver, that shocked me, but go ahead. I like this.
All right, what do you think?
Give me Carolina right above the Canucks, and that comes with a caveat that Carolina has been much better recently. I love the addition of Jake Gensel and what he's unlocked with Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis. So I really like Carolina. It's not a disrespect to them. It's just I think the teams that are above them are really good. So then let's go with the New York Rangers above the Carolina Hurricanes, because the Rangers have been very, very streaky. I don't know how much I trust them, but they do have a ton of talent. And then Florida above the Rangers here. I really like the Florida Panthers, but they're one of those teams that they're a bit streaky as well. And then just the 2 teams above them, Colorado Avalanche and Dallas, I think are built for a Stanley Cup run. So I'm very excited to see how this shakes out in the playoffs, but there are a lot of great teams this year, and a lot of them could win the President's Trophy. So.
Wow. Danny, what do you think?
That's so exciting. Well, Colorado was the only one that I was sure of, so I'm glad he said that. I don't care about the rest because I was right on with him with the Avalanche.
There you go. One for one.
That's right.
Man, I just still can't believe you put your Bruins at the bottom there. All right, well, and then what's something interesting you did say is that you haven't seen the standings this close in a while. How rare is this?
Yeah, so it seemed boring like a month ago because a lot of the playoff teams seem locked because you look at the standings, they're all very tight together. But now, there hasn't been a separator in terms of a true powerhouse. And so now you're talking about 7 teams that could be in the mix for the President's Trophy with 2 weeks left in the season. So I can't remember the last time that's happened. And then you've got a bunch of interesting wild card races, too, at the bottom.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like you said, there's only a few weeks left of the season, so every game